Hey guys, I'm Alessio and this is my cinema, and today I want to compare Akira Kurosawa's masterpiece with its two American readaptations. First of all, I want to say that I had some issues with this video. I wanted to make it last week, but I had some problems. The problems I had it was that I was at the cinema. I was sitting. I was eating my popcorns while the spots were rolling, and the movie was starting. The lights turned off, but 1 minute after they turned on again and a voice told us to get out because there was the fire alarm, and that day we didn't manage to watch the movie because of this, and we went a week after. And I want to compare them going chronologically through the movie from the beginning, which I think that the Japanese version, even if it's the best movie, has the weakest opening because they get to know that they are endangered by those thief, because one of them it's hiding right there, and I felt it was forced because they could have had a scene where he's picking the branches and then he was coming back to the village and he heard the horses coming and he hid there. So I think that they could have showed this, and it would have made a better opening. And the other two, it's a bit better because they confrontate with the enemy. They know it's coming because the enemy says so. You can argue that it's not that good because he could do that exactly in that moment. There is no reason why they will go back and then come back 3 weeks later, or 4 months, or 3 months, or whatever it was the amount of time that they said. So I guess the openings are not the best points of all those movies. And after that they get to know what's coming, they reunite in the village and they discuss about it on what they could do and what not. The Japanese version in whole parts of the movie takes much more time, and I think that it's better because we get to know the villagers and also the samurais, thing that in the two American version doesn't happen, because I think that the time that we spend with them, it's not enough to really get to know them. We know a bit who they are. I'm not saying that there is the need of this time because you don't understand who they are. I'm just saying that you need this time because you don't relate on an emotional level with the American ones. You just know who they are, but not enough to feel for them when they die. Because yes, spoiler alert, they die. Not all of them, some. And there is also the fact that thanks to the more time that we spent, we get to learn much more about the Japanese tradition than what the cowboys and those villages were used to do. I mean, probably there is no need because we have a bigger culture over those years, because we got tons of westerns in the 50s and 60s and even 40s, so probably there is a real need to explore that, but fortunately the Japanese does this, and it's a bit better also because of this. I was very glad that in all the three movies there aren't all the same 7 characters. Some of them change. When I was watching, I felt, I don't know, a bit disappointed because it's missing a particular character from the Japanese version in both of the Americans, which it was probably one of the best characters there, the one that we understand the most his history in the Japanese version. But at the end of the day, I think it's also fine, because if they would be all the same characters, it will be pretty much the same movie. There will be no need for a remake or a readaptation of these movies. I think they did a great job. At the end of the day, that's a point in favor of those two movies instead of something against. For example, the new one doesn't have a love story. The previous ones they had, and I think in the first, the Japanese one was good. In the second, felt a little forced, and I was glad that in this one they didn't put. I got what I was expecting, a more action-oriented movie, which is good. It surprised me with this thing. It surprised me with the absence of the love story, and that put the new one over 1960s one, because otherwise they're pretty much the same. And the other thing that helped this movie, it's that it doesn't has too many sentences copied from the Japanese version. It has a joke copied from the old one, the one about the man falling. It's in both of those two movies. I guess it's fine. Actually, in this one they use it much more. The first part of the movie ends when they collected all the 7 samurais or the 7 cowboys. The second part is when they are putting together a strategy and they are training a bit the villagers. And that part in the Japanese version is far more superior. There is much more depth in it. We get to understand how the villagers think, how the samurais think, how they think of each other, and how this relationship evolves. And that's why the American ones are not great movies, because of how much less depth they put in the movie. They are good movies, but they will never be as Kurosawa's one. And you will think that maybe the new one or the one from 1960 has a better action than Kurosawa's one, and you are wrong if you're thinking this. If you never saw the 7 Samurai, you should go back and watch it, because that movie has lots of action and it's well directed. There are many scenes that I wonder how they made them in the 50s. They are really great. Like, for example, the climax of the movie when it's raining, that scene, it's just great, I think. I really want to know how they made lots of things in this movie, because it has lots of things which I wonder how they made them in that time, and with not so much money as they do now, or with the technologies that we have now. And it's just fascinating to think about this movie. And I think I pointed out all the things that I wanted to point out about those 3 movies. What are the difference and what makes them better or worse than the other one. I think I finished my job here. And also I wanted to say that this is the last video that I will make for a month, because as I pointed out in other videos before, I don't really like how I make reviews. I want to change this, and to change this I need to take a pause and to rethink it and to try new things. And I think that 1 month will be enough for this, so we will see each other again in 1 month, because I really want to add some comedies in my videos, even if they are reviews, but still you can make something different than what other people do. And if you want to keep in touch with me, I will be trying to use much more my social networks, and you can follow me on my other channel where I play games. I have just 5 videos there at the moment, but there will be more coming meanwhile you wait for videos here if you care. And the last things about these movies, it's that those movies are the clear example that remakes and readaptations are good to be made sometimes. They are not the worst part of cinema when they are made good, and those readaptation and remakes are made good and they had something new. They doesn't copy completely the whole movie, just repeating the same just to make it watch to a newer audience. If they want to do that, they just can restore the whole movie and put it back on cinema. I think someone will go anyways, and I guess this is the problem with the industry nowadays. They don't understand when it's good to make it and when it's not. For example, this time they had a good director to do this, Antoine Fuqua. It's a good director. He proved it in Training Day with Denzel Washington as well, where Denzel won his Oscar, as you know. And I guess if you want to make a remake, you should take a great director. For example, they're going to remake Psycho or Birds, but I think if you want to remake a Hitchcock movie, you need a great director, not the first guy that you find. Maybe he will surprise us, but most of the time he won't. And I was thinking about that. If they want to remake Psycho, I will see as a perfect director Fincher, because he will go in a completely different way than Hitchcock did. He is good with thrillers, as we know. He's good with suspense and mysteries. I guess he will be the only one to be able to do a good thing. Maybe it will match the original one, but anyways, you will not be mad at the movie. But that's the problem. Fincher, I think, wants to make his own movies. He won't go to make remake. They should not remake classics unless they are going to do it with a world-class director, I think. Unless they have a very great idea on how to improve it and how to go different from that one. Because if you don't go different, you better not touch a classic movie. And that was all for the video. You may subscribe, you may like and comment telling me what do you think about those 3 movies, if you watched them all, and what's your favorite one. Probably the Japanese one. So that's all for now. See you next month.